Alright, so welcome back everyone. We are getting into the last episode of this Project Zomboid series where I walk you through surviving your first week in real time. Now, as this is the last episode, if you're just clicking on this video for the first time, there is a link down in the description to episode 1 in the series. In the last episode, we were able to acquire all the food we needed to survive the immediate future. We've got ourselves a freezer unit for storing extra food over the long term. We've got a working vehicle, a little bit of fuel, and our safe house is prepped to survive the helicopter event. I hope you've enjoyed this series. If you've watched all the way up to this point, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And with all of that out of the way, this is day 7 of your first week in Build 42. So we are jumping into the very last day of our surviving your first week video, or series rather. I'm gonna unequip these shin pads for now. Now I'm gonna keep them on me. We were able to wear these for quite a long time before the discomfort kicked in, so I am gonna keep them on me. But our focuses right now are, biggest first and foremost is to try and find a generator so that we have a solution for when the power goes off. I also want to try and acquire water dispensers from the fire department and possibly an extra bottle from the police department too. And then we're also going to build a rain collector and or fill additional containers with water. And lastly, fuel is on our list as well. But fuel will probably go to the back of our list because we have a bunch of non-perishables from our run to the Gigamart that we got done in the last episode. So biggest thing that I'd maybe like to do is look for a generator, but in the time that we don't have a lot. I'm actually going to go straight for the fire department and I'm going to just go and check out the area, and I think we're going to start like kind of clearing it out a little bit and get my hands, if I can, on the water dispenser up front. Now water dispensers are a big thing, and the important thing is to try and acquire one before the water goes off, because then we can fill it up with clean water in advance of the water shutting off. If we acquire one afterwards, that dispenser might not be full, and then we're going to have to make do with whatever's in there and try and fill it up with collected water, which will take longer. Just checking the condition of this guy's clothes versus our own here. As soon as it's looking like we see zombies, I'm going to put these shin pads back on. Also, one thing I've actually learned while I was making a tips and tricks video, the discomfort bar is actually very misleading. The discomfort and the combat speed modifiers that you see at the bottom of the panel there, the more green there is, the worse they are on those stats. I think that's incredibly misleading, but that is how that works. The more there is in the bar, the worse it is. I think that could be fixed very easily, personally, with changing that bar to the color red. But yeah, something to definitely be aware of at the very least. Okay, it's not looking too bad. We do have a little bit of clearance work to do here, but that's all right. Again, we're going to pick up these digital watches because I want to learn electrical. Man, there's a lot of these guys. So if we let discomfort build from those items that we're referencing there, essentially what would happen is we would start to get unhappy as a result the longer that we leave discomfort running for. I think we can get around these guys, you know. I'm maybe going to pull the couple here, but because they're in front of the window, but the water dispensers in this room. All right, there's the water dispenser. It's also important to notice or to know that any of the items that have like protection values to them, like the shin pads, for example, will reduce like either your run speed or your combat speed. And usually that corresponds to where they are on your character. So the shin pads would reduce my movement speed, and the elbow pads, because they're on my arms, would reduce my combat speed. You have to be careful with that because, well, you might think just grabbing all of them is a good thing. Obviously, the more you stack, the bigger effect it's going to have. So you do need to be careful not to overdo it. So we've got the water dispenser. Now, frustratingly, you can't actually take the bottle off of these and then still carry the dispenser. You have to actually carry it while the bottle is on it. Kind of hoping that gets fixed in the future, but you have to leave the bottle on it to pick it up. Probably going to miss the carpentry show, which is going to be a bit of a bummer. I might see if we can dip in this house here. I know I'm building fatigue here. We know this area is relatively clear, so I'm going to see if I can get in there really quickly. Oh? Is there a radio I'm missing here? Because there's no TV. I don't know what's happening. That's all right. Base is there. I think we can make it. Oh no. Okay, that is real poor timing. The taking out the zombie is going to be a pain. And of course we aggro another one. You can see how the fatigue and the pain is making this a real push. Right, I'm gonna try and dash just to try and catch the carpentry show. We might already be too late, but let's find out. Yeah, it looks like unfortunately we're too late for this one, but that is not the end of the world. We are very close to hitting carpentry level 3. So that is the main thing. Carpentry level 3 is when like the carpentry skill really opens up, and we'll just double check. Yes, rain collectors are level 3, so we need to get there first. Now I'm just giving my character a moment to recover here. I am also going to take off these shin guards since they're uncomfortable for my character. And we're just reading the electronics book right now. Now I think because we have the water dispenser, which we'll go and collect here in a moment, our next goal can be to go and get the extra bottle from the police department. That will give us 2 bottles of full water. Off the top of my head, I think they're 14,000 milliliters each, but we'll check that here in a moment. How is our weight doing? Our weight is at a steady 79. That is good. Okay, let's go and grab that bottle. We don't need anything that's gonna like really fill us with calories right now, so I'm gonna grab a cucumber from the freezer and I'll just let that defrost in my inventory for a moment, and we'll go pick up the water dispenser. Okay, so it's 10,000 milliliters each. 10,000. So we're gonna have a total of 20 when we get that extra bottle. Alrighty, let's go ahead and place that like just here at the end of the kitchen. All right, so next thing we want to do, we want to take the bottle off this and we're going to fill it up while we have running water. Now you'll notice that the bottle is 15,000, but as soon as I put it on the dispenser, it'll go to 10,000. And that is a bug with build 42 at the moment. I'm unsure which that will end up being once it's been fully fixed, but I guess we'll find out. Now we're going to go and get the extra bottle from the police department. Got to keep an eye on my muscle strain here. We have given quite a bit of that to our character. Ooh, I just caught something going through that tree. Not to worry though, it is just a scratch. My main problem here actually is that we're in pain as a result, and that right there is actually a really good demonstration of why that walk to function to go through trees that we showed off last episode is a really good idea, because you saw how I was only in that tree for about half a second and it gave me a scratch, and that's probably damaged my gloves also. Yeah, but that's all it took. That was very unlucky, but it does happen. I'm actually gonna grab like an extra t-shirt or something here just to rip up into rags. We do have like a good couple of them and they are sterilized already, but it'll be good to have a couple of extras. Okay, just one extra because these are dirty. Okay, so we've still got quite a few zombies in the area. And remember, we want to keep our ears open as well, because there is, at any moment, the chance that the helicopter could show up. And if that happens, we want to dash inside and try to cut off its line of sight to us. If it happens while we're at this police station, I am going to be in a very bad spot. But we'll see what happens. I'm keeping my health panel open here. The only reason I'm doing that is just so that when our bandage does eventually go dirty, I know about it. Now, if I left a dirty bandage on the wound, I would increase the chance that it would get infected. So to stop that from happening, I'm just going to keep an eye on it. I believe the water dispenser was in the main office. Okay. There's a couple of zombies in here. Not to worry though. That's okay. Try and draw them over to the windows. Ooh. Okay, I think that radio has drawn a bunch of them in, so I am gonna have to watch my back here. This is probably gonna be more than I anticipated. Wow, okay. Feel like I got a little cheated there out of that one. And my problem here is that my pain is going to come back. So we'll take some more painkillers before we fight this next batch. Okay, that's those two. Still got like a couple in here. Now, that was the dangers of using windows in combat shown right there. Getting knocked over like that in that kind of situation is not great, obviously. I was very lucky to survive there. but we have, so we'll make it count. Now, if the helicopter happens to show up here, I think I'm just going to dash into the armory room where there's no windows. Good stuff. We did well to survive that. It sounds like there might be one in the office there, yeah. Just checking to see if there might be any emergency frequency on that one. There is not, unfortunately. Okay, so we're going to take the bottle. I don't think this has a lot in it. Is it enough for us to put in our backpack? Yes. Excellent. And we're out of here. I'm actually going to just check the lockers in here as well to see if there's any radios maybe that we could dismantle for XP. We got something. Actually wondering where that is. Could be on the roof, maybe. We can dismantle a camera. Yeah, so we got another radio up here. Let's check this one. Nope. No luck. Now, one thing as well that I could do, which isn't worth me doing right now because I don't really have the carrying space, but we could actually dismantle these static radios as well, but we'd have to pick them up first, and they weigh a lot more than these ones these little watches that we're carrying. So it's not really worth us picking them up just to lug them around right now. But if I'd already got my XP multiplier from the electrical book, I could dismantle them. There's an awful odor here. This is actually one of the biggest problems that you can face with the new build if you're not careful. Once you reach that highest level of the smell moodle, that's when we start building sickness. So because that was at the highest level, that's somewhere I don't want to be for any longer than I have to. But we have the extra water dispenser bottle. That means that we have pretty much solved our water problem. There are, of course, other things that we might want to do, like build a rain collector once our carpentry hits level 3. And the other thing we can do is we can start filling extra containers with water if we want to. So any roasting pans, cooking pots, bowls, bottles, whatever it might be, we can start filling those with water if we feel like it would be beneficial. We are in a good spot. That is the main thing. With the rest of my day, we're going to start hitting some local garages for the chance that one of them might have a generator. That is going to be our last part of the day. Do we need one right now? No, but it's a good thing to start heading towards. Okay, so I'm going to learn from last time and I'm going to use the walk to function here to avoid getting cut on those trees. How is our bandage? Clean for now. Gotta keep an eye on that. So we'll fill this water dispenser bottle and then we'll just place that up here. And all of these containers here, the empty pan, the empty pot, if I needed to, I could fill those with water. We have quite an abundance right now, so it's not really necessary, but I could if I wanted to. Excellent. Now, let's head off to the local garages. What is this? I suppose it's survival. Looks like we're getting some foraging XP from this one, just while we were passing through. Foraging has become an incredibly useful skill in Build 42 as well. I've seen some frankly amazing things being pulled from foraging. Zombie right here. Okay, are we just not the smartest zombie in the world, I guess? That's all right by me. There's more zombies around here than I remember there being before. A lot more. 7 p.m. I was really hoping that the helicopter might show up, to be honest, so that I could show you guys what to do with that. What we might do is, at the end of this episode, once we finish this day, if it hasn't shown up, I might play until it does, just to show you guys how to handle that, because I realize it can be quite a big event to get past. So we'll see if maybe we can add that to this episode, even if we go past the 7 days. But now my priority really is I'm just gonna check out local garages, see if we might find a generator. Oh, literally, first one we pick. And there's a vehicle key in here too. We missed this. Does actually have a little bit of gas. It might start. Again, not the best on gas, really. That seems to be the common problem with the vehicles we found in this run, but a working vehicle is a working vehicle. Okay now. Don't get up. Don't get up. I believe this is a premium generator. Now, I will admit, I'm not sure on the differences with the generators right now, but I know that there are now different types. Oh, I forgot about this. We have to open the passenger seat door so that we can place the generator on the passenger seat. So we go up to the vehicle and hit V for the context menu. We open the door, we'll wait for the zombies to stop trickling in, and then we're gonna have to grab the generator and put it on the passenger seat. We clear. I think there's still one in the house. So now we should be able to access the inventory of the front right seat while the door is open, and we can put the generator on the seat. We close the door. Important to remember to do that. The zombies can't reach us. Oh, the battery's gone. I think the battery's a non-starter. We're gonna have to carry this thing back to base, which is gonna be a little rough, and we're getting tired. So I think we eat something, we take a quick sit down, but as long as we get this back to base, that's the main thing. How far are we? Not very, really. It's not far. We can do it. We'll get it back to base, and then we can give our character some much needed rest. Okay, that should be enough. Let's do it. These things are heavy, 40 weights. This is going to definitely give me muscle strain. We have a dirty bandage we're gonna need to switch out, but we'll be all right. The helicopter shows up, we'll just have to drop it and run. One last thing about this generator is we need to place this outside. The reason behind that is if we put it indoors, it will fill the room with toxic fumes. You can see here, as I mentioned before, we get to electrical skill level 3 or the magazine, we can operate this. Now, ideally, we would place that within a fenced off area so that the zombies won't damage it. They do get drawn to the noise of generators and can damage it. So that is something as well to keep in mind. Now, we're getting tired. Not really reached bedtime yet, as it were. So we'll just sit by the TV, wind down our day. We'll round out reading some electronics, get in our electrical skill. We can skip a little bit of time here. We want to go to bed at about 11 p.m. at the latest. Pretty smooth sailing today. We had obviously a couple of bigger fights, a couple of tense moments, but we've made some progress. We've got water covered. We've got a generator covered. Now, if we were to progress into week 2, all we would need to do is learn how to use that generator, which we're already pretty close to because we've almost read this book. We're on our way to it, right? We know how we're going to get there. Or we find the generator magazine and then we just need a little bit of fuel, which we can get from a bunch of vehicles. So let's end our day there and we'll wait to see if the helicopter comes in overnight. If not, I'll keep playing a little bit to add to this video just so that we can show you guys what to do in the event one shows up, because it would be either today or the next day. So that's it. Now, that was the end of day 7, but as you've seen for yourself, the helicopter didn't arrive during this time, and as such, I played out just a little more of this playthrough, just until the helicopter did eventually make itself known. Now, during this time, I decided to stay as close to home as possible for the next day or two, and spent significant amounts of that time reading up on skill books, which is always something I'd advise around this time, because you're looking to be in a safe location when the helicopter arrives, and this is a great way to ensure that's the case while preparing yourself for the later stages of your playthrough. Anyway, here's a bit of extra footage for you to enjoy and learn from before we wrap up this series. Here we go. Here comes the helicopter. Right, so if you hear this sound, that tells us the helicopter is coming. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stay away from any open windows. I didn't know that it did this. It actually mutes the sound of the helicopter underground. But yeah, we could stay in the basement, or we can just stay in the base. And that is exactly what we're gonna do. Nothing more complicated than that. We'll put an episode of Exposure Survival on. Now, if a zombie did come banging at our door, just because like they happened across and were just knocking at the windows or barricades, would I go outside and deal with them right now? No. I would have to leave them to bash on the window, potentially break it, and come in. I would have to do that. The reason behind that is if I step outside, the helicopter will focus on my character. It zones in on you and will follow you around and draw the zombies to your location. That is the simple reason why we're staying inside. We do not want the helicopter to follow us. It can't follow us if it can't see us, and that is that's all we're doing. You will have some time to react to that. You know, you could hear when it was on the way, it had a little bit of time before it arrived. So you do have a little bit of time to react. But yeah, realistically, you just have to stay inside. And by default, you only have to deal with this once. And I think that's it. The helicopter has been and gone, and with that, you have survived all of the major challenges within your first 7 days. Hopefully you found this useful, and maybe we'll do some more series like this in the future. So that's it from me in this video, but we'll be doing a supercut of this series soon, so you can watch all 7 episodes as one singular video. Thank you so much again for all your support during this series. I really hope you found it useful, and I will catch you all in the next one.